Good morning, everyone. Today's topic on this conference call is recalls. And everybody's seeing a lot of recalls in the news right now. So obviously, they're always in the news, but especially lately, this one with General Motors brought to head a lot of concerns on recalls. First of all, I believe, and I always have, that the best thing I have ever done to develop repair order counts and getting customers into the dealership was using the open safety campaign list from the manufacturer. And everywhere I go, if I look at the amount of open safety recall campaigns in their market area that's provided by the manufacturer, every one of these incidents have at least a 1 month repair order count in safety campaigns. First of all, it's always embarrassing if you just sell a brand new vehicle with safety campaigns on it. And lately I've seen where the manufacturer even bills back the dealer for a PDI, pre-delivery inspection, if it's delivered with a safety campaign on it. So everybody's taking these more seriously. If you sell a used vehicle with a safety campaign, it's also a legal concern. I suggest that every dealer have a relationship with the local franchises so they can check each other's VIN numbers for open safety campaigns and perform them. They may be considered a competitor, but when it comes to delivering a used vehicle with a safety issue, believe me, it pays to have that kind of relationship in your local market. But the way that I used the safety campaigns was I wanted my advisor staff in the amount of 10 contact calls daily to use the safety campaign open list and contact our customers and just to inform them that we're concerned. That call will go something like this. Hey, this is Rob down at the dealership. I just see your names on an open safety campaign. I would love to schedule an appointment to bring you in and take care of this no-cost repair just as soon as possible for you. Now, even if that was a voice message, and the customer came home, I can't tell you how many times we received calls, well, why didn't my selling dealer contact me? And that answer would always be, I can't answer that. I'm contacting you because I'm concerned. Now, is that customer coming in? And where are they going to get their maintenance done? Believe me, it's where that cause of concern is located. So if you're the initial point of contact and you want to get a consistent program in place to build repair order counts, it always has been contacting them off that list. Now, today's concerns are a little different, where let's use General Motors as an example, where they're doing millions of safety campaign notifications, and a lot of the vehicles have changed. And really, even at the time of the notice, the manufacturer didn't have parts availability. They didn't even know what they were going to end up with in parts replacement programs. The dealers didn't have the information on a timely basis. In essence, it was a very poor example of what not to do in a manufacturer's status. But I'm sure all of this involved the legal department. What are we going to need to accomplish to satisfy their needs? And how are we going to roll out and launch this kind of an issue where even the integrity of the manufacturer was in question? So what do I think will happen with this? The rash of open safety campaigns is going to ramp up. It's going to ramp up dramatically because the manufacturers will see that with the legality and General Motors maybe not acknowledging their issue in advance of the government's concern, maybe even to the point of putting it on the back burner that is this a massive recall? What's the cost? How much is this going to affect our bottom line? Do we need to do a recall? And a lot of these vehicles are even out of service. We can develop all kinds of logic that they may have used. The fact is, due to maybe a delay in bringing this to everybody's attention, the integrity's questioned. Now, when I'm going around and I'm looking at the General Motors dealers, I'm seeing hundreds and hundreds of additional open repair orders at the dealership level. Part of the immediate concerns have been addressed. They do have understanding of what parts, what components, what it's going to pay, what the labor up is, and these parts are starting to ship. The priority was strong in resolving their issues. But now these issues are in the dealership level, and these millions of safety campaigns are out there. As dealers, how should you respond to this in your market? Do you want to call clients that are angered because of this safety campaign or maybe a questionable integrity involved? Absolutely. My suggestion is that as we talked about, best way to build customer counts, RO counts, customer retention, customer satisfaction is to be proactive in these safety campaigns. I want to tell you that this isn't the only involvement of a poor safety campaign rollout. And I know, for example, there was a couple with Ford, one involving vehicles where they had to pull the customers out and put them in a rental car, and they didn't have a fix available, didn't know when parts would be available. And then another one with Ford where they had to disengage the cruise control because of a lack of parts availability, and they kept delaying the availability of the parts. So in these examples here, I can guarantee you there were millions of offended and upset customers. Millions. And the car dealers that, as I was contacting them, were avoiding the recalls. Well, the parts are delayed. Do you think they were contacting the customers to let them know that it was delayed? No. They're waiting on the customer to contact them. And then the customer's angry. You told me that switch would be available in 30 days and you'd call me. It's been 60 days and I haven't been contacted. That's the very worst case that you can do, is to wait for the customers to contact you. Now, when I'm telling this suggestion of being proactive, you'll never say, I'll call you when the parts come in. Never hide on a safety campaign. If you're proactive, we're contacting them. So I want to go down what I would consider some best practices for handling safety campaigns. And the number one part of this is to develop a contact list. In a situation that General Motors is in, if depending on the size of dealership, splitting these call lists around is considered important. And I would even involve the sales staff in these contacts. But develop a list, develop the action plan of how many you're going to contact a day and who's going to contact them, And then, frankly, number 2 is to just call them and express concern. Ask for the preferred method of contact. So, obviously, these recalls are in flux and some are changing, and the availability of parts are a concern. A small dealership might have 300 open repair orders. How in the world do you keep track of all these contacts and who said what and what was the contact date? You better have a log. Now, if that log is on an Excel sheet with the action needed, the date, who was contacted and what time, that is what I would consider best practice. And when you ask for a preferred method of contact, note that. Is your information up to date in your computer system on how to contact these and follow up with the parts availability and who's got what and when and how they will be contacted? And then the other thing that must happen on this is that the customers must be updated consistently. That doesn't mean daily. But if the customer says, hey, when would you like me to contact you again on our next update? And they say it's a week or so out, I think that's reasonable. To make this list a priority, to make these contacts a priority, is essential into reducing the frustrations and the irritations of this campaign. What vehicles were affected. And it seems to me the National Transportation Safety Board always has this information publicized before it gets to the dealers. I understand these are going to be an ongoing concern. And I understand that what I'm suggesting as best practice isn't easy. And I'll challenge you in this statement, what best practice is ever considered the easiest? When you're looking at your dealership and the opportunities, it's easy to hide away into the safety campaign. Well, the contact list. I don't even have the current phone numbers. They're not even provided anymore. It's not easy to do this. Oh, it's a big fleet customer. Wouldn't you like to have them? So whenever we're looking at best practice, we're never looking at easy. We're looking at a way for your dealership to get involved actively, proactive involvement in an issue that's high integrity, high customer satisfaction, high customer retention. And guess what? There's no $1,000 ad in the local paper trying to bring in a low-cost oil change customer that you lose money on. All of the safety campaigns are at rates that are at warranty rate. The times may not be great. I know they cut the parts profit also. But I'm telling you, our ultimate goal needs to be on what is the best way to attract and retain customers. Isn't that how we grow our business? And guess what? Those clients that are attracted and have a wonderful experience in these safety campaigns, guess who got the first shot for them or their family to buy the next vehicle? All right, so we'll conclude today's call. Thanks for your attendance. Hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Bye for now.